I don't think it's too early to start praying for snow on March 27th. What do you think? Tim Drudge here, View from the South Stands, coming to you early Thursday morning after Toronto FC's famous victory, soon to be famous victory, I should say, against the Los Angeles Galaxy that improbably has put them into the semifinals of the CONCACAF Champions League against Mexican powerhouse Santos Laguna. March 27th. It's going to be the first leg at BMO Field, and then the following week is going to be the return leg in Mexico. The game itself, I think, went exactly according to plan when it comes to what Coach Aaron Vinter had in mind. Tactically, he played a real high line tonight. I think the intention, in retrospect anyways, was to try and find a way to wear Los Angeles down a little bit. Of course, LA played over the weekend. Toronto FC didn't. They probably didn't have the legs that TFC had. So the plan was to push them early, get them to run a lot, and then as the game went on, hopefully the Reds could grow into the game and have the legs at the end of the game if they needed the pot of goal here or there. But lo and behold, a goal came early, didn't it? 34th minute, Ryan Johnson on a great cross from Nick Sulzma puts the Reds up 1-0, and they go into the dressing room 1-0 at the half. They come out in the second half, and surprise, surprise, João Plata, who many thought would be the offensive weapon that would really wear LA down from a pace perspective, was off the pitch, and a much more deliberate player in the form of Terry Dunfield came on to help sort of shore up the midfield and park himself in front of the sweeper, Frings, and of course the centre backs as well, Aceval and Harden. Didn't really go exactly to plan, though. One of the things that happens with a high line is you run the risk of getting your defenders caught and having to rely on your goaltender. More about the goaltender in a moment. But the high line, I think, directly led to LA's goal, which was an own goal. Don't want you people blaming Ty Harden for it, though. Yes, he put the ball in the net, and it led to a 1-1 tie. But that goal should be credited to the high line, not to Ty Harden. Ty Harden was doing what he was told to do by the coaching staff. So the game is tied. 3-3 in aggregate. LA goes through. TFC has got to score a goal. One of their best offensive weapons in Plata is on the bench. He's not able to come back into the play. So Luis Silva comes on. The kid that scored a wonderful header off a wonderful Frings cross last Wednesday. Almost scores a minute after he comes on the pitch. He puts a ball a couple of minutes later down the line to Ryan Johnson, who returns the favourite in Nick Sulzma. Johnson puts the ball in, Sulzma puts it in the net, and bang, TFC is up 2-1, and beer comes out my nose. I'm just absolutely agog. I can't believe what I'm seeing. So the Reds then have, of course, to try to park the bus at that point. In the 74th minute, the most pivotal part of the game happened when, on a really nice play from Landon Donovan, he put the ball through to Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane is in clear on Milos Kosic, and Kosic does this beautiful sweeping save of the ball to thwart a Premier League quality striker, a very good player, and obviously save the day for TFC. So the Reds hold on, and they hold on for what is going to be looked at, of course, historically, as one of the biggest, if not the biggest, if not the most important victory so far in the short history of our club. So the plan was to use that high line to sort of wear LA down, and I think it worked. I think if you look at the last maybe 35-40 minutes of that game, I think it's fair to say that TFC held their own against Los Angeles in that stretch, the own goal notwithstanding. I think TFC's legs were sharper. I think their passing was crisper. I think even though the possession stats overall were 60-40, I think a lot of that was sort of meaningless possession that LA had in the first half. And they were getting pressured and harried a lot by that high line that TFC was actually keeping. So I think tactically, Aaron Vinter got it absolutely right when it comes to the formation and using what he had to work with and what the situation was on the ground in order to succeed. So that's number one. But number two, and what's probably even more important, was I was kind of surprised to see Milos Kosic in net tonight. But what an absolutely stupendous move that was, because who knows how that game would have ended up. It might have still ended up a victory if Stefan Fry was in. It may have ended up as a 3-2 loss. We don't know. We'll never know. But big props to Milos for stepping in there, and now TFC has a goaltending controversy. And more on that to follow. Now, last week was the biggest event in Toronto FC history, it's fair to say. Tonight wasn't the biggest event in TFC history, but it was the biggest game in TFC history. And since the teardown, as I call it, really finished up last summer, I should say, for Toronto FC, when the DPs came in, when the last of the deadwood really got cleaned out, TFC's been a very good team. They qualified through thick and thin in the Champions League against really good competition like Dallas and Pumas and so on. They had that rain-out game. You know, they had all of these things. They had a new team, a new coach, a new system to actually get sort of involved in and working, and they made it work. And when the chips were down and they had that game in Dallas, they won 3-0. When the chips were down tonight and they were in Los Angeles, they won again. So I'm quite optimistic that going into this season, TFC has I think, a much more realistic chance of making the playoffs than they've ever had before, based on the sharpness and the quality that we've seen so far on the aggregate from the middle of the summer of last year to what we actually have right now. So, the 27th of March. That's going to be the day when we play Santos Laguna, and we are heavy underdogs. We were heavy underdogs against Pumas. We were heavy underdogs against Cruz Azul, and we beat Cruz Azul in our house. And TFC fans will know in a few days about ticketing. Get those tickets, get your voices ready, because we got to bring the noise on the 27th and make the Mexicans realize that coming to Canada is not a cakewalk. And hopefully the folks at Environment Canada can make it a snow day, and that's going to be even better. I'll have another video blog up on late Saturday, early Sunday, after TFC's first MLS game of the season versus, of course, Seattle, in Seattle, again late Saturday night. Thanks again for watching, and come on, you Reds. See you soon. Cheers.